So DMT, the reality of so DMTs, the reality of DMT as I see it. So DMT puts people into like a dream, similar to a dreamscape. You know, um, it activates similar zones in your brain and stuff. And people who lucid dream, right? There's no, they live in their choices of whatever it is, and it's not it's their choices. You know, it's all, it becomes all whatever it is their value systems and stuff are. And so that's not reality. Um, Although it is fun, but it's not it's not reality. And so people use DMT to um, train lies into their psyche and stuff, and to accept it more. And proof is that the DMT is a conduit um, that was supposed to. So your shaman of your tribe, who would have been the most um, the most likely not to offend the real owner creator of existence, um, and would know who they are, would take it, so that they could converse on what, like your area is going through a famine, right? And they would take it and they would be like, what did we do, and all this kind of stuff. And like if you don't know what you did, well, I mean, oh, but so like in these current days, people have been taking it like recreationally, and for their own reasons or whatever. And the problem is that when you're like when you've done things, and you've disturbed other people's lives, or even your own life path choices, um, things happen in life, and it happens to everybody. If you're in a body, it wouldn't matter. Even rich people, even the fabulously rich people, have these, whatever, these cause and effect things. And so what DMT does is, like, for some people, a lot of the people that I've seen who use it, they use it for the sake of internalizing lies, to make it so that it's more seamless, at least to their psyche or whatever. And of course, no, not everybody's like that, but a gigantic, I wouldn't say who is and who isn't, but you know, so this is the conversation topic, right? And so most people are not, they don't have the mind or ability, they haven't cultivated conversation or um, anything like that, right? So when somebody poses this, they get super defensive because they want to keep doing DMT or whatever it is, and instead of like posing, you know, what they could, whatever they can think of at the time to justify for the sake of conversation. And so, like right off the bat, like that's a a ending strike. But so DMT and a bunch of psychedelics are a conduit to this dude who really owns existence, and is the judge, who's like, well, I don't agree with what you did, so now you guys don't get to eat the same or whatever. And so when you have a planet full of people who are taking it, and then they deny the existence of this one being, and they deny the words coming out of that mouth, and because they all want to live in their little lie bubbles and lie scapes, even though, like, the reality is well, you guys haven't fixed anything, you've only made things worse, and every day gets worse, even though you guys seem to be oblivious, willingly oblivious. And this is just general statements, because there's always unicorns potentially, right? And so, like, if the actual one being was in front of you, um like, you, and they tell you because set your presence or whatever it is, and you whatever it is that was your question and your intention of this trip. And this guy actually, you know, is there to talk, and you don't, because you already know that being doesn't agree with you, so you're just using it as a conduit to internalize the lies that you want to seem real to your head, you know, and it's really sad, because that one being would have special consequences for that, because it's really just unnecessary. It's like you got a lot of them. They get herpes and stuff, right? And then they go and they want to do ayahuasca and stuff because they're trying to accept that this happened to them, and find a way to accept it, because they're fighting that they have it and it's really hurting their lives and stuff. And so they're taking these, it's not just ayahuasca, but DMT and stuff. It's a whole variety of psychedelic drugs, and various other drugs, and they all like chime in toto. They all chime in with in one way or another, because most people are so not in the zone, right? And then there's a few people who are in the zone, and it's pretty fucking exciting. And I guess that's what something wanted, but it just seems like this is just facetious violence or something, like some little kid throwing a tantrum, and then I'm the sort of individual, like I was talking with a friend of mine or something like that, and they were always like, why don't you stand up for yourself and stuff? And I'm like, but you're like some part of you already knows, and I didn't even say it because I don't want to have an argument, because I already know what your stance is, and then that I'm not the end all, because you're not going to like what I have to say, and then you're going to get hostile towards me, and you're just going to dig yourself into a deeper hole, and then you're going to deny whatever it is. And then if I go into the state where I'm telling you that this is what it is, and it's the final matter, and then you continue to persist that I'm wrong and that your view of reality is whatever it is, and you just took this conduit to talk with me, I'm not going to be very understanding, and so I'm usually it used to be just damage control, because I don't want to experience whatever it is, and so it's not that everybody who does DMT or ayahuasca is like this. There are some nice people, but this was I was scrolling, and some person, Aubrey Marcus, had this groundbreaking DMT research that could change everything, and it says in the thumbnail, it says, is DMT building reality? And no. Because see, the religiously observed traits of our species is that we are not grounded in reality at all. Reality is something so far from our grasp that it's terrifyingly hilarious, and proof of it is everywhere, yet we're able to justify our actions for whatever reason, which proves that the authentic creator being did not make this species, and that this species was made by somebody who was just in such a bad mood and so angry, and they're such a devout, delusional narcissist, that the only thing that they could accept was that there had to be somebody else, because once they crossed a certain line, they knew that they were fucked, right? And then they were like, oh shit, and then they fragmented, and they would keep fragmenting themselves, hoping that because their search was that they were trying to find whatever or whoever that could be all like, no, this guy isn't the dude who is the real, individual who decides what happens to all of existence during and at the end. There you go. And so it's really like, I feel for judges. They sit there and they listen to these people just lie all day, and over heinous things too, and they just try to justify their actions, and it's like, whoa, like, that's terrifying, and they're sitting there with these people, and they're so pot committed to their lies, and it's really like, I mean, gosh, they how do they stay so grounded? Because I don't I just avoid. I'm tired. Like, I don't like being gaslit and stuff, because I just don't like it. It just is not fun. And so it's like these people, like, they'll take ayahuasca, right? And then they'll set their intention or whatever, and then they'll like, oh, like, I want this, or I want to understand something more, and hope that they'll go onto a thought pattern or a thought train, and have better understanding of something, at least for that moment, even if they don't remember it when they come down. But like, it's really dangerous, because a lot of people are just, they're so deluded, like, this is a species that literally thinks that if it's not, like, either it's God or it's above God, like, and when I say God, I mean, like that was a term or accolade that you guys said meant the one being who's the original creator, but you guys were talking about, and you guys didn't understand that the dude who made you in their likeness, who used their body to make you, was not the original. They're not the authentic creator being, and they're not the one being, and everything that they did turned to this fucking horrible shit, and they kept on saying that it was that one being who, it was its fault, and even though that dude was all like, hey, like, I just tried to explain to you so that you could do your little tirade, and make it last as long as possible. Because, I mean, I want to, like, you personally insulted me and stuff like that, and you denied my whatever it is, and so I'm just like, you fucking burn in hell, like, and the longer you last, the more hell you collect for them and for your respective bloodlines, was how I saw it, and so, but at the same time, like, you're getting to last this long, right? And so, and I thought that was like what you guys were all about, was just lasting as long as possible, hoping that your creator one day, like, whatever the F it is, but so, like, it wouldn't matter, because there's all these people who are like, oh, we're in, like, a simulation or anything, like, that wouldn't matter, because even if we were in a simulation, like, you existed as this sequence of whatever the F it is, and and there is hell, so that you I don't even care about you understanding anything, like, you've caused all of this damage, you obviously can't be trusted, and now it's just, well, you thought that you could cause more pain than me, and the whole time I was just like, oh man, I'm just trying to keep this thing going so that, we can all kind of enjoy stuff. That's what all of these rules are based around, and I didn't even want to interact with fucking anything, like, I was just like, look, if you're somehow in my interacting sphere, look, I got these rules, and they're followed, or whatever, and you guys did not. So the first interaction was, I think I was drunk, or I was high on something like mushrooms, right? And one of your species came over and, because you guys were hiding in the bushes and fucking about, because you're just basic mimics usually, and some of you have used and trained yourselves over, you know, a millennia at least, some of them longer, um, but you're still like trained mimics, and it's, I'm not saying that you guys are occasionally fun to interact with sometimes, but and so they like brutalized me when I was in this super awesome state, and I was just out, and and so that was what started it, and then you guys continued to just act out, and then like after a long time they just we were like, oh, like train them, maybe they can be useful or something like that, but of course not. It never had anything to do with that. It was just that this fucker dared to do this, right? And then when they were confronted about it, like they went into their gaslighting lies and stuff, and the dude was just like, hey, like I'm saying, like, okay, that's like, you made this stuff, okay, and for your own sake and their own sake, you we're gonna end them all, and then they'll still exist, but we're gonna remove, because the traitor was once part of whatever of the authentic beings, something enough to steal what they stole and run out here and have the gifts that they were, that they had and stuff, and they had made it through at least one creation round, and they were missing all of their friends from the past and stuff like that, and they're like, can't you understand? I'm like, no. And that's what as a species we do, or whatever you want to call it, like, can't you understand? Like, I wanted this, and I didn't care what happened to you or anything like that. And then you'll say, look, like, can't you understand? Like, I'm supposed to understand that, and that your wants, no matter how destructive or terrible, are so much above me that I don't matter, and only thing that matters is your narcissistic will. And I'm just like, no way, And so, like, a whole bunch of stuff. There was a bunch of big ass wars and stuff, right? And your traitor creator was, it was a brutal ending for that individual, and like, but they had used the fungal network as a bridge. They had this special. They stole something, and they used it to make a fungus that they imprinted themselves in, and they and they're in everybody's body, and you say God, and they, the whole thing with, oh, and they'll come in, and maybe they'll come into your body like right now, even though they know who I am, but they're just so lost in their fucking lie, and their real self is on the other side, right? Because they're always like, oh my, like, it's how I decide to see it. And it's like, no. Okay? And it wasn't even like, this is how I decide to see it. It was like, look, this is like the reality of cause and effect and stuff like that. And these are emotions and feelings that come. And this is symbiosis and, keeping everything in this nice balance. And so there was a bunch of, like I said, there's a bunch of wars. Like brutal wars, like it was bad, because you guys hurt ours, you hurt a Boy Scout troop, a fucking Boy Scout troop, and then you guys we're all like, yeah, and you guys danced and fucked and whatever the fuck you guys do in victory, right? Wilded out like a bunch of like those satanic forest animals in South Park, and uh, and it was hilarious, right? Not, I mean, it kind of is hilarious because what happened after that was you guys were decimated, right? And then you ran and you hit underground, but that was like that's so far out like after, but it happened a bunch, and that's how you developed your we these a bunch of traits of these bodies, you know, because like the original forms of these things are just a little bit more hairy, and over a shitload of time of being forced underground, because they knew that eventually the fuckers that came out here and decimated this shit out of them and said like you're not supposed to exist and stuff and you're fucking up stuff, you know, like they're always going to come back and they can't be defeated because if you kill one, like they're usually fucked up, and because they're fucked up, like you were able to kill them, and or whatever, because you guys would do brutal shit to them occasionally, right? And so like you think that they'll just end their side, but you are the ones who fucked up, you know. And then every time like would try to empathize or something with the bullshit that you guys have in your minds, and then you'd be like, no, you know, like this whole you guys asking for rent but you guys won't pay rent, right? So so like you guys would ask for rent for property and things that weren't yours, you know, things that you claimed, and like rats and mice, and saw that and felt like, well, I came across it and I want like ground scoring hippies. Yeah. Like ground scoring hippies. Anybody who's ever experienced ground scoring hippies, like, oh, and I was thinking that I wanted this, and then I came across it, and you just so happened to have it. You know, isn't that interesting? And so I took it. Don't get mad, you know? And that's you guys in a nutshell. And so, you know, like everything, because like I said, I wanted you guys to last as long as possible because I hated your creator with a fucking passion, you know? And like they weren't worthy to anything. And so I, like, the second that I realized that they were just a faker and just a delusional narcissist, I threw them into a fucking box. And that's where we are now. And you guys are all part of this thing, and you're all on the bill for their shit, right? Because they didn't deserve to exist in awesomeness because they were just fucked up. And you know, they had a lot of folks who liked the lie, that the facade that they put on, right? And it was just like, oh my gosh, you know. And so like you guys wouldn't have music without the traders who sent music in here and a whole shitload of stuff. You guys would basically still be, you guys wouldn't even be in the Stone Age, you know, because the reality of the human species and even Jotuns and all of these things, right? Like, the only thing is that Jotuns occasionally, no, like, because they did, like, there's rocks and you can touch a rock and a being will possess a body, and they'll look out, you know, like they can look out of your eyes and subtly manipulate your mind, and usually most people aren't aware of it, right? But it's real stuff. And and so like they thought they were like, oh my gosh, like I will win and blah blah blah, you know. But the whole point was that there's no winning, and that they were just a inherently terrible thing, and the facade that they put on was really good, you know. And it was like, wow, because I'm fucking cruel, right? Because I could have ended it all a long time ago. I could have ended it all the second that fucker was created. And I was like, oh, you're the fucker, you're that piece of shit who's gonna betray me. Like I gave you all of this, and I tried to help you out, and I treat you like you're my family, and you betray me, you know. and and so I was like fuck this shit, you know. And so I was like, we're gonna see, and everybody, because everything is like, there's no hiding anything. I mean, I don't know anything, but there's no hiding anything. You know, because at some point, the dude goes back to wherever it is the dude goes and reevaluates everything. So we're in a box, 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 that kind of thing, you know? So you have no hope or chance of anything. The only thing that you have is is that, you know, there are still these stupid traitors who are willing, you know, on both sides, you and them, to to betray like a dude who would throw you in a box, in a box, in a box, in a box, and then let you think that you're a king or a god, and then, you know, like pepper away at you. Oh gosh. And so there's the story of Abraham and the tribes of Israel, right? And God said to Abraham, kill me a son. And so that's all you guys know, right? Is God said to Abraham, kill me a son. But you guys don't know that God said to Abraham, kill me a son, because his son's family was responsible for, like, causing atrocious atrocities across the rest of his bloodlines, who were pretty, you know, definitely not as bad as that fucker and his family, but also because they were gonna do what they did to who you guys call Jesus, even though Jesus doesn't exist, you know. And so this Yeshua Mashiach guy, and so basically, or I think it was Balder. It might be Balder, but I'm not 100% sure right now. Like, I'm this battered and abused body, and you know, I stopped taking my meds, which is my CBD, and because I'm just, I sometimes I got to take a break, and so it's like I'm just like, wow, right? So I gave this guy Abe, and I was like, dude, like, you gotta kill your son right now, you know, like, and I have to have you kill him and understand why, so that you and your kids don't get angry at me, right? And and they did not understand, and they pushed violent energy and stuff, and I was like, okay, well, fuck it, dude. I mean, you guys are gonna do what you guys are gonna do, and just know that you, Abraham, have to pay for all the damages that your children do, and vice versa, you know. And so because everybody, like, the whole thing was that, like, I'm so cruel that I'm gonna let you do your stupid shit, right? And then I'm gonna fucking hound in forever how much I did not like what you did, and how I tried to be as kind and caring as I possibly could, and your species is just so inherently fucked up because you're basically like clones or something of this despicable traitor with, you know, turned down abilities. And so it was amazing to watch everything unfold, right? And so Yeshua Mashiach was trying to spread some amazing things, right? And was all like, okay, well, I'm gonna use empathy or whatever, empathic abilities, or empathizing, you know, where you're like, well, I'm gonna try to mirror what you're doing and then explain things back to you in your language, you know. And so he took, like, the tenfold path principles and stuff, and besides already being, you know, a pretty exceptional being, you know, at the time, unless he did work with somebody else, and, you know, people from whoever it is, whether it's a government or private rich people or poor people or whoever it is that are like, we're gonna hurt you, because whatever the fuck it is, and so this individual proved that they were worthy of being in this shit, and that they did not deserve to ever be trusted again, right? Because because like, I'm here, right? And every time that I try to offer anything, it's always fights, and you guys have economically boxed me out of life unless I wanted to slave for you. And I never treated any. You're the ones who called yourselves slaves and stuff. I was a. When I have abundance, I'm very I'm generous and stuff. And I made sure that you guys had awesome food, like way better than anything you guys have now. Awesome drinks, and good parties and stuff, and you fucked me. I gave the chance, and you fucked me, and you guys waited for me to go into, a good party state, and and then you came and you destroyed my stuff, and you hurt my family, and I said that after that was it, that there's absolutely no chance, and everything is fucked, right? And that was a long ass time ago. And so like a long ass time ago. And so we totally decimated your despicable excuse for the species, right? The fucking bipedal rats. Well, I don't want to say it, because rats are just so much more productive than humans and fucking Jotuns and shit, Because like the Nords are some of the keepers of your past. The old Nord mythology is real. There's some real shit, and there was a big battle that they called Ragnarok, and Loki versus Odin, the Allfather, and his ilk and stuff, right? But and so like it was exciting, right? And so he thought that he had won in all of this stuff, right? And all of this stuff happened, and folks escaped to Earth, which was my pleasure garden of sorts, right? It was glorious, the Garden of Eden, and like I was just like, look, like, you fucking dicks, okay? Like, these are the base rules, and they were so fucking simple, and you guys couldn't even follow those, and you guys just went right back into your same stupid behaviors and stuff, and it was just kind of like, fuck it, But so I made because it was the Umirian creations. That's one of the traders' names. Was Umir or Ymir or Emir, and that individual made all of these traitorous bastard creations, using its body, and it couldn't do anything on its own. Like, it had a ship that it stole that had technological capabilities, and was relatively easy to use, almost like somebody had set them up, but they were never really that whatever it is, so that they were like, I'm gonna take my chance. This sounds like I get to exist for like 1 trillion years and just cause all kinds of damage to this individual who like, I fucking hate because of whatever the fuck it is. I'm a delusional narcissist, who just is so jealous that I'm not the real authentic creator being. That was basically that being in a nutshell. And so after the Ragnarok, the planet moved into a specific position, and the sun burst this amazing whatever the fuck it is and caught the planet on fire. Which is why sometimes like you'll hear about in esoteric circles and stuff about any time the planets all align, they're worried that the sun is going to unleash this ray. The like, if you ever played Balloon Tower Defense 5, the monkey ray god, the monkey god, in its ultimate form, basically like that, and just fucking, and then all of your touch magic and stuff like that, everybody just goes to the final judgment, where there's no like whatever your grounding of what you think reality is doesn't exist, like your justifications of anything, like they don't exist. And so like it was where are we? Shit. Where are we? Who am I? That's, I would figure that would be the most terrifying thing to anything that was really intelligent and knew who the authentic creator being is. And they were like, who am I? I don't know. Because they have so much, like, nobody can comprehend what that being is capable of, especially if they're in a bad mood. But you're the terrorist, and you're in denial of your terrorism. I just wanted to participate, but you guys wouldn't even let me participate and empathize or some kind of shit like that. All I said was don't like I would let you guys continue going for a long, and you couldn't fuck with my family at all for any fucking reason, unless you would have to bring your grievances up to me, or whatever it is that I said that you had to bring it up to. And if I determined that they actually did wrong you, and they weren't supposed to do what they did, and it was like a really bad, like you were actually, you had cultivated a great being for your species, and they had just taken out whatever it is and hurt you for whatever reason, that I would bring justice, right? But you guys didn't like that, and you wouldn't follow the basic rules of intelligence and existing, so that the waterways would remain clean, and air and soil and stuff like that. And it was exciting, right? But you guys haven't gotten this stupid. Like this is clearly the end times, because you guys tapped the oil in the planet, which, for all you know, was used to help the tectonic plates move, and of course you're all like, well, I own my deed, and some of these places are like perpetual, like, so no matter what, as long as I have this piece of paper, all of these men and women with guns who follow whatever the fuck it is, like, this is my property according to us, and you don't matter. That's the nutshell of it, right? And so they don't want the planet, the crust or whatever, to fold under and go through a cleansing cycle, because they want to maintain ownership of whatever it is they have in perpetuity, and they have their gigantic inherited wealth, religions, and systems, right? And so basically, like, so every time that the planets align, that's where I was. Every time the planets align, there's a whole shitload of individuals who remember, on some level, the fungus remembers, and that fungus is with that traitor imprinted itself in, right? And is doing its little shit all around the world, right? It's havoc, and the terrorist traitors, and so the sun will bust that ray, and it'll catch a planet on fire so deep that basically all life is like you wouldn't know if you were to come across it afterwards, after it breaks up like that, the belt between Mars and Earth. You wouldn't know that it was a planet, you know. It's just a bunch of scattered rocks. um, and you know, the ocean is Pluto, um, and possibly also Europa or something like that. One of those moons. It was a huge planet, and I mean, you guys really pissed me off. And so here I am, and I'm challenging you, because I'm fed up, and I tried to be nice, and I mean, you guys won't even give me like basic shit, and I have helped your government out so much, and folks all around the world, and you can't even respect me with like a little bit of something, you know, which would be like maybe 10 grand a month, you know, for a single individual. It's probably a pretty fun time, you know, given I have almost nothing now, especially after I pay bills. And you know, because I was just like, I can't believe this is what they think I deserve, you know, everything that I do, and they think that I like, fuck that, you know, like, fuck that. And that's just what I do. I exhaust my patience, and then I go into the zone where I'm not going to help you anymore, and you guys aren't going to figure it out. And there's no contact rules, so anything that comes here, and interacts with you or the planet, um, if they ever make it back to their home worlds, like, their planet becomes like Earth, you know. That's what it is, unless they follow the protocol, which is, and a lot of times they don't, you know, because they're like, that's my son, or some stupid shit like that, like what you guys do, you know. Yeah, I understand. Like, and they'll say it like, and my son did all this horrible stuff, but can't you just let him live and understand that he's a fucking narcissist, and that I'm really saying that I'm above you, and and I'm just doing whatever I can, like a little child who doesn't want to get fucked up, who knows that it did horrible shit, you know, like those kids who like kill their sibling, because they're just super narcissistic or whatever, and sociopathic, and their little brother or something says something or touches their toy, and then they just go on these insane, violent fucking whatever the fuck it is, and then, you know, something always comes and fucks them up afterwards. Like that one, I think there was a guy, his name is Mr. Ballin, and he told the story of this kid, and he like killed or something like that his sibling, and then the mom and dad like beat the shit out of him and all of this stuff, and like locked him in a, you know, like brutalized the fucker, because, you know, they weren't going to get justice from the law at all, you know. And they were like, I like, this is just too much, and this kid has gone too far, and this is like our problem to handle, because the law has let, you know, murderers get away at young ages and stuff, and serial killers get away, like that kid in India, and he killed 3 kids, you know, like 2 in his family and then somebody else's kid, and then India was like, so what, you know, like, oh, he's not going to be held accountable, and we let him go and hide and stuff so he can go continue being a serial killer and who knows what else, you know. And so you know, to catch those hell points, but that's on their government, you know, that's on their governing body and their taxpayers, because they didn't rise up and say this is wrong, and do something about it and stuff, you know, because you guys are psycho or something like that. If you guys got serious issues, and you guys think that you're not, and it's just scary, right? Because even the nicest people, like right now I'm looking at some of the nicest people, and they're still living a very destructive, you know, narcissistic, sociopathic existence, you know, like, but at the same time, you know, maybe they have a purpose, which is that I want to see all of their sweet adventures in the food, and it's really cool to see two people that actually care about each other this much. Um, you know, I can't say who, because you guys got some problems, man, and I don't want you guys to go and fuck with these people. And gosh, I mean, the food is so amazing. And so basically, the so when the planets align, like this fungus knows that it's been eradicated before, um, with this planet, with the sun or a star bursting this beam of whatever the fuck it is that catches it on fire, and that it can it because it's seen it where it all aligns, and every planet in this was this a solar system, in the solar system is like poof, it's fucking gone, and then everything goes to the final judgment instead of you guys, you know, getting to continue some form of your stupid little tyranny, you know, because there was passive hell, and so a son or whatever of mine or daughter, I don't remember right now at the moment. I'm sure that once I get back to whatever it is, I'll remember, you know. But I don't know how they identify right now, you know. And so they were like, oh my gosh, like how about what about passive hell, you know, what about passive hell points and stuff. And so like passive hell points and stuff would be like your car, gasoline, a computer, you know, clothing, you know, and they're all these little passive hell points that you get to pay for when you die, you know. That it's exciting, it's exciting. And so, wow, I mean, look at that, food is so good. And and so that's the future for these 9 worlds, is they're going to get obliterated by this beautiful sun over here that feeds the plants and whatnot, and keeps a lot of things disinfected. And I'm guaranteeing it, and I'm saying that that I'm so fed up that, and you guys are denying everything, and I can't believe that you wouldn't even give me like 10K so that I can go and enjoy my, you know. I mean, gosh, you know what I could do with 10K in a country like Thailand, which I've always wanted to go to, because it sounds like an amazing place. Like whoever their ruler or whatever it is that put that thing together, I mean, damn, they got some style, you know. And like the food, and a lot of I'm you know, sure everywhere has uncool people, but it does seem like there's a lot of just really nice folks there. And you know, to go to these other places and to go and check out like Italy and Europe and stuff, and eat the food, and to go to China and eat their amazing food, and see the beautiful lands of China, you know, and to go around the world and enjoy this stuff, because I'm probably, like, if I'm not already sterilized, I'm going to probably sterilize myself, just because you know. And so like I couldn't believe it, and so they wouldn't even give me the like 10K a month, you know. And they give other people that, they've given other people for fucking all sorts of shit, right? And they won't acknowledge anything that I've done, and they won't acknowledge anything, and they just, because all they do is gaslight, you know, and use all these stupid manipulative, childish tactics to like zero in on what they want, and completely be like, I'm going to deny anything you want, but occasionally, like, if I think that it'll benefit me, I'll do something that you want, you know. And I'm tired of that. I'm fed up with it. I've exhausted all of my patience. I mean, and I'm like micro whatevering, so anything that I can link, I'm gonna fucking, like, they're gone. There's no next round for them. There's no quarter. There's nothing. That's what it is. You guys hurt my family, and you hurt me, and then you're just like, like, we're not stupid, childish little fuckers, but we are, right? And so, because you think I want to just exist on 10K a month? Are you fucking serious? I mean, they're fucking. Have you seen any of those billionaire yachts? Okay, I saw this one billionaire's yacht. It was a black catamaran. It was gigantic. It was so awesome. And then it was sitting next to this other billionaire's yacht that was like this gorgeous blue, you know, and like a classic, you know, 2000s maybe with a little bit more of a modern twist to it. Yacht. I mean, they just look so sweet, and I'm like, I was looking at yacht magazines when I was a child, and private jet magazines when I was a child. You know, like I was hoping that you guys would have like honored and given me that kind of life, because you're like, this is obviously the end times, and you want it to last as long as fucking possible, and also for me to bring in some sweet, you know, finishing acts and some good times, you know, to make this end as pleasurable as possible. But that's not what you guys want, right? And so, you know, like I'm just like, because I'm always thinking like, oh, like the president is going to task a black ops team to come and snatch me up and then take me to a room that they thought that they built based off of all of their research esoteric stuff so that they can torture me, and they think that I won't be able to, like, they're like, and he won't be able to use any of his stuff, and his kind won't know where he is or anything like that, you know, because they've tried that before, and I blew the planet up. It was exciting. It was excruciatingly painful for a second there, but I guess I won. You know, especially because you guys still have to pay for everything that your ancestors did, and they have to pay for everything that you've done. So, like, if you really hate your family members, like, don't, like, be as kind as you can to me and give as much as you can to me, you know, because then I like you. And even if I'm going to make you pay for everything in this life, I don't like them, and I will fuck them a little bit extra because I like you, and I know that they fucked you, you know? And I thought that was cool. I thought that was nice, and that would kind of be able to emphasize or whatever, empathize with that. And, you know, because, I mean, gosh, like, who wouldn't want to, like, give somebody a fucking lasagna that was, like, perfectly made and like, just impeccable flavor, and there's no bodily fluids or hair, you know, whatever it is that messes it up. Although, it's horrible to say this, but every time I find a hair in my food, for some reason the food tastes better. You know, so if you do accidentally put one hair in, just make sure you take it out so that it doesn't go into my mouth. Because you guys are tasty. You know? You guys, like, the base of the human started out as food for my dinosaurs. You know? Yeah, you guys are an amazing snack for a fucking Velociraptor or T-Rex. You know, all the chimper type species. And I mean, you know, and sometimes they would win. Sometimes they would. And it was exciting to watch occasionally. Yeah, but that was I don't know how many falls ago that was, you know, because this is the time when you guys, this is like, you haven't achieved this level of destruction and stuff until now, and we're talking like billions of years of your existence, and you don't even remember it. It's just hilarious, but I have it all cataloged deeply, you know, like an anal return of fucking Virgo who's just like, oh my gosh, and you said this, and your eyes did this, and your mind said this, and your subconscious did this, and all of these other fucking things, you know, and like just basically like wrathful fucking hate, and micromanaging, you know, and so, and like I said, micromanaging, because a lot of times, like, I will chime in, especially if I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is a big move or something like that, and you have done things for us in the past, and I want to make sure that you know, I'm going to give you the opportunity not to go in this one direction, you know. We're not talking about the band, you know, we're talking about whatever the chain reaction of your action is, and then occasionally, like, something will chime in and be like, oh, it'll be, because it rarely will it fully take over your consciousness do the action and you black out, but it does happen. It does occasionally happen. Ah! And so, where are we in history? Where are we in history? Oh, this is it was like it was like either one kid of mine or something like that. What you would call a kid, although I don't know that I would call them a kid because of how old they are, and you know, I mean, gosh, it was a really good. I mean, they convinced me, you know, and if they didn't have any part of my, you know, all of the abuse that I've experienced on this planet, and people being dicks and shit, um, you know, or they did, but I said that was like cleared because they were trying to get me into a specific state of mind for whatever it is, and I gave them a pass on certain things, and but I said that I was going to micromanage everything like to the finest T or whatever, so that they had to be 100% always, or there would be no 100% always, or there would be consequences. You know, basically if it anything even microly out of line, according to the whatever the plan was, that it would be seen as that they were part of this traitor um, ilk, and that it was a revenge against me, you know, and which would be grounds for all kinds of just nasty ass shit, you know, and so they were all, you know, like the Jotuns and religion and all this kind of shit, right? And you know, there's a whole bunch of Umirian creations. You know, there was like the dwarves, and I mean, you can look it up yourself. Subspecies of Umirs, it's fucking shit, and you're all like, oh, money. And you think that you can take my stuff and alter it a little bit, and now it's yours, like jewelry. It's like, no, that's still mine. I mean, I wanted my gold beaches and my silver beaches and my jade beaches and all that stuff, you know. And there were a few people who were amazing. But the gold and silver was what I wanted, like because it was just a great beach, you know. But I mean, we all love jade. Oh, it was gorgeous, you know. And there were just some that were better at keeping the deal and stuff than others, and you know, that's, and so basically the whole thing was that to do the thing with this Yeshua Mashida character, um, which I think was Balder, right? I think it might have been Balder and Loki, and that was what they can. But the thing was that they conspired, and conspires is a word, man. It's a dastardly word. And so the question was that because they both had grievances against the real Allfighter, you know, for various things, you know, because the real Allfighter is known for, you know, killing their kin and their sibling, like everybody, like there was no nobody was safe once they crossed the line, you know. That was their reputation, you know. Until they crossed, like once they crossed the line, then it became something else, uh, and I thought that was what they liked about me, you know, because that gave them kind of a, like, I was like, okay, like if you cultivate being, you know, like something cultivated an exquisite being like Siddhartha Gautama, right, and that fucker spit in his face. And that fucker is still paying for it. I wouldn't care if the Buddha fucking begged me to stop. I wouldn't care. In fact, I might be kind of pissed off that they'd even ask me to stop it. But, you know, I guess they're trying to be compassionate towards whatever. And I'm like, nah, dude, I can't understand that. You know, because you didn't deserve to be spat in the face of, especially by something as low as that being. And yeah, but I mean, it's all, you know, it was all how they phrased certain things, so long as it wasn't manipulation, you know, because things would do like the ask 20 questions but they're really asking one question. You know, and they're all like, okay, well, I'm going to ask all of these obscure questions, and then piece together the information that I want from them. Uh, and like like, and they would set up chains, like traps, like um, get not gizmos, the that dude who used to make those sweet mouse traps, and it was like 20 chain reactions to get to one. That was the final one that they wanted, and that's what they would do, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, like you think I don't know what you're doing, but you'd push me past my limit of giving a fuck. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like that means, because it puts their entire bloodline and their trader creator and so much more on the bill. There's no, and because everything was just like, I was just like, this wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't even supposed to be here, or whatever. And so was like, I guess Loki and Balder conspired in hell, and then I think they might have propositioned the Allfighter, and like, okay, like, how's about this for, like, what, for an ending, like, it sounds like a pretty sweet ending, and then I was on board, and I was all like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool, but of course, like, with all of the stuff about, like, well, I mean, you know, if you guys are willing to take on the consequences and stuff, if I determine that you guys have laid a trap for me or something like that, right? Or you're seeking revenge for whatever the fuck it was. Because I was always kind of like, like, well, I'm trying to shag and get with this lady first, right? And have my good time until I get exhausted of whatever it is. And then I go on to the next, and then, I might come back later. And then, but they're like, they're like my, I'm like good, I, oh, like they were with me and all this stuff, right? And so they have my, my special protection sort of thing, and I look out for their life in a more caring way. And then, and I'm like, oh, that's like, they chose, like they, like somebody, like like a just like a random name, like a Samuel, who's like a really awesome dude, uh, and seems like a nice guy, and and they would, and then I was like, oh, I mean, that's that's pretty cool, or whatever. I'm happy that you're having fun, and hope that you be being treated well and all that good stuff, and 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 so and so that was the the base of that, and sometimes individuals wouldn't want me like hooking up with whoever it was, right? But that other like their chick, or that they considered their chick, like wanted to hook up with me because they knew the reality of the dude that they were with, and they wanted to, they were hoping that they would have some insurance if their guy decided to be an idiot, like to me personally or something like that, that it would be that they'd have a far better chance of whatever the fuck it is, of existing longer, and their kids continuing to exist or something like that, with with food and all this stuff, instead of being like starved and sold into slavery or something. Because like I wasn't gonna, like, this is all, everything's all based around the Umirian way. This is Umirica. This is America. Why America? America. And so like, this is all Umirian shit. And because I asked, somebody made the first individual who made jewelry, right? Because I'm a collector. Like, there's that video game, and they're like, oh, the collectors, and they're gonna come and we're gonna defeat them with all of these other species. Like, oh my gosh, that's exciting, you know. And so the collector, and so the first individual who made jewelry, I asked them, you know, I was like, I want this, like this is my stuff, and you just, you know, whatever it is, you did your thing here, and I thought you did a great job, and I wanted it, and they didn't even, like, they should have gifted it to me, and instead of following, because that was the deal, was that, and they were going to make this the deal was that they were going to give it to me, and they were going to make others and sell it to these other people, and because of my whatever it is, all these people were going to want to buy it, even though, like, regardless of the consequences of having it or anything like that, you know, like, because it was just so cool that, like, the off-roader wanted it, you know. And they didn't do that, and they were like renegotiating, you know, jewelry, and they were renegotiating that, you know, like no, no, I don't want that now, or whatever it is, like this is their little moment, and they're having a stupid power trip with a dude who's, you know, has taken, like, what you guys would consider children of his and thrown them into boxes upon boxes upon boxes upon boxes, and fucking burn the shit, you know, like, because fire, ouchie, hurt, right? That's what you guys are about, right? But, like, I'm not gonna articulate or whatever on the gruesomeness, and the lack of giving a fuck. And so, basically, it was really exciting. Like, really, really exciting. Because, where am I? Oh, yeah. So, I'm just, like, pocketing around. And so I wanted you know, like, the deal was what it was. And they knew that. And then they were like, no, like, right now I have my little bit of power. And you, like, I have what you want. And I want something more. Like, I don't recognize any of the things that you've done in my life at all, ever, right? That's what I'm understanding them saying, and that this one little thing that I'm asking for, which doesn't even affect them at all, you know, and benefits them, and they're trying to renegotiate with me, and telling me no, or saying that, well, they'll take me to a black site, or they'll hurt my loved ones, or something like that, you know, or just that they're just saying no, and so are all of their people, and they have a system of fucking wealth and money and stuff, and they're like, nah, like, no, you can have nothing in the underbottom. I'm not gonna come through on my side of the fucking deal. It's like, well, then you get to pay the fucking ultimate consequences, and I started a little bit less. And trust me, when you're in the suck, that little bit less is so nice. You know. And so it's really sad, because especially when you know that they've given, you know, billions and trillions of dollars to other people who gave them, and, you know, offshore accounts, and they gave them money and stuff like that, and assets, and did little favors, personal favors for them, not anything to do with anything else, and that you have the ability to, you know, show everybody exactly what you did, you know, like them watching a movie and knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was real, you know. And but they already said that, like, they said 3 years ago that they weren't going to come through, you know, on whatever it was, and they just continually say, like, go fuck yourself, you know, like, it's how we decide and not how you decide. And I'm like, no, you know, because this was all going to come to a fucking screeching halt and shit anyway, because you guys have sucked the fucking oil out, and you're really stupid, right? You're such a stupid, destructive species, and it's not even really entertaining to watch, because I would have rather had this planet keep on going, right? And so you guys sucked all the oil out, right? And so soon, like, and they said that they backfill it with water sometimes or some shit like that. Like, we're talking like caverns that are gigantic. And so the other one was that, like, they're sucking it out, right? And then they're thinking about, like, okay, they're gonna make, like, this gigantic elevator system, and go and hide underground again, right? And like, nope, that's off the table. You know, that deal was done because the deal was like, okay, well, you guys are gonna hide under fucking ground, right? You guys can't come aground at all while we're here, um, at all, period. And they broke that, and they, because they're dirty little thieves and shit. They're untrusted. Of course, like we didn't know that you guys were gonna do anything, right? You're fucking stupid. Obviously, we're at the end, and I'm fed up. Otherwise, I wouldn't be saying any of this crap. You know, because I mean, you guys weaponize everything. You weaponize everything. It's not entertaining. Um, or like, yay, and it's just like weaponizing kindness and weaponizing everything. And so I'm like, like if you had a deal and you didn't come through on the deal at the times when you're supposed to come through on the deal, uh, very rarely will I continually, like, unless I really, really like the individual for some fucking reason. Because the humor and stuff, like, or whatever the fuck it is. Fucking dick. And I, and, because I wanted to have a good time. I thought we both had a good time at that thing or whatever, and I was just like, whatever, man. Like, we don't have to be seen together or any fucking thing, Like, just like, here's whatever, and just a good time, just two people having a fucking good time, like the Wizards Club, but no. I just I don't have the like the and so yeah, and then I was all said that the first individual who did the jewelry oh my gosh, and every jewelry ring sold, oh, it's great. I mean, but back marriage business, oh yeah, totally. Like, so, whoa, here we are, what was it, I'm trying to remember where we're at. It was I already brought up the because it's the fungus that's inside of you and stuff. It's fiddly dee and fiddly da, but if you lose the fungus, then you still have all the issues that was part of that being that made you. So I mean, everything is kind of super incestuous, but that's I don't know why, but my Pornhub reel has so much faux incest. It's insane, because I'm just like, disgusting, right? Because I have a sense of humor, or I have humor, and then others sometimes they sense it, and but so I mean, how do I where am I? And the sun bursts the ray, and it burns everything to a, beyond a crisp, and it's finished, right? Like finished, not like the Great Thaw, and the fucking whatever, the Great Thaw. So obviously you're fungus, and you came out in the Great Thaw, and you existed in past rounds, and you implement, because you were that being, and and then you did the fungal, like what they're trying to do, where they're like, oh, we want to like put our so we can live and be immortal, and then even though I told them, I mean, you have to pay for everything that your whatever the fuck it is does, right? And so this fucking thing has like several creation rounds, at least one other that it did stupid shit in. So it has that's two, which is too many. And so it was all fine and dandy, right? And everything was going really well, and herded everything out here. and all the other planetary systems are fucking. They got what I said about this the star opening up and blasting that fucking planets to nothing, um, and burning everything to the point where there's absolutely no way that the fungus or anything could ever survive, um, and that the fungus knows that, you know, um, and so yeah, no, I hear you, fungus. I hear you, traitor. The fungus is a traitor, and so that's hilarious. No, the fungus is a traitor, and so honesty, honesty is something this species can't grasp. You know, well, wait, honesty and truthfulness are different. Yeah, I don't know, but so so basically, um, a bunch of groups of people realized uh, through whatever it was they found books or they whatever the fuck it is, and tales of people talking and shit, and they allied with this fungus, right? And that was the whole what we've been going on now, which is the great sugaring, pumping the masses with fungus feeders, so that the fungus can like overtake the bodies and stuff, and can like it's like it has its little bubble of shit, right? Um, and it's like popping its friends into your bodies and stuff, right? And and then when you try to like kill it off, um, it fucking it fights you and psychologically batters you and all this kind of stuff. And and whoever it is was all like, "Oh, the fungus, and we'll pair with it. We're gonna go into this nice nuclear age and stuff, and we'll pair with the fungus, and we'll make it through." You know, it's really it was funny. Um, and so double ensemble. I oh, that's right. That's right. So Loki and Balder and the end times. So I was distraught. Um, like there was the whole thing, and I hung myself from Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil. However, there's lots. People pronounce things differently. I was, this one individual that I saw on YouTube was like the old Y was Ud, so Yggdrasil, and so I'm like, oh, because it's always just trying to get you guys to understand with your level of understanding and what you guys understand to get my points across, which always, no matter what you, or not always, but like a lot of times it falls flat. But I tried, and so then I'm like, well, now I'm justified to myself and going to this other level of suck because I tried to whatever, you know, and I always would tell my beings and stuff to never to do that, never emphasize with a narcissist, sociopath, psychopath, never try to understand anything that they do because it'll only cause you to go insane and shit, right? And so I was like, okay, like passive hell points and stuff like this. That sounds exciting. That's like jewelry and stuff. And so it was awesome. Okay. Books, of course. Like and so the runes and I came up with the runes and written word, so that you guys could perpetuate your tyranny across generations and time, and whatnot, and it would all, like as long as the writing existed, or any mind that had experienced it, that has the genetic memory of anything, and is all tacked onto the person who wrote it, and all that kind of stuff, and everybody else who was on that bill. And so I mean, this is exciting. Where's the Zachariah Sitchin, man? He'd probably like to hear this. But, and so, basically, like, this is the end times, you know? Like, whatever you guys do to me, hopefully it's in the happy, good time stuff, you know? Like Wayne's World at the end, and like, no, I want the ultra happy ending. That's what I wanted. That's what I still want, despite all of the shit, you know? Because we have the rest of eternity to settle all of my grievances, you know? And there you can't deny shit. It's just like, oh, fuck, you know? Like when you hear something say, oh, fuck, for a very long time. You know, sometimes it's entertaining. And so, for me. And so, basically, like, oh, the religions and all this stuff, right? I mean, fucking 10 rules. Are you fucking serious? Like, ask a fucking scientist about chemical reactions and about rules of interacting between chemicals and stuff. Like, is there fucking 10 rules? I don't think so, right? Rules change with, like, temperatures and fucking concentration of interactions and all sorts of fucking shit. And so, like, we're at this time, right? And I've asked all the religions for my money, which you guys said that you were paying. But they clearly stated that they were spending it, you know, and they would spend it on you guys and on themselves. And it was supposed to be my money so that when I came now at this final whatever, that I could have my super awesome good time, you know, and want to keep this going just for like a little bit longer, you know, to give you guys so that everybody gets to have a little bit of fun before this, whatever it is next. And so everybody was like, no, right? Like, fuck you. And some of them got, you know, downright hostile. Yeah. And it's exciting, man. You know, because I know what the consequences are, but you all don't. And so that's kind of fun, because the problem is the same problem with the United States government and various other governments around the world, which is when you have enough money and lawyers, you can learn laws, and then you'll try and find loopholes, or, you know, word usage. It's all basically like loopholes and stuff, you know, like oh, I interpret it like this, and I just said it was like this, and they're like, but I interpret it like this. It's like, ha ha ha, you know. So then you're on for a whole bunch more than just whatever. And so exciting, right? This is the real history of existence. Some of them might even have bits of this in their old ass books or whatever. And so I'm the dude, and I didn't want to do this or say any of this. And I don't know that anybody will ever actually watch this. But I mean, you know, because the problem is, people are like, because all of your bullshit choices and bad shit that happened to you in life, that is all your own doing. I didn't have fucking shit to do with any of it. Like, literally. You know? Like, I'm gonna make you pay on the other side. It was your creator, Udmir, who's been fucking with you guys, okay? Because they know, and they know that their authentic self, or whatever you want to call that, because in a way the whatever is kind of their authentic self, but it's not the dude who's suffering right now in the suck, right? And so, you know, they want themselves to pay as little as fucking possible, and so they were trying to micromanage, or at least, like, you know, ultimately, because they're a fucking trader who's deceptive and shit, they're working towards their own means, trying to, like, chase something that they thought they saw, because they would always come to the, like, oh shit, you were the one, you know, like, yeah, I just wanted to, like, something told me that you would fuck up and you'd be an asshole like this, and I just wanted to you know, really really hound it in because you're just so great at forgetting, um, conveniently forgetting. Uh, and isn't that a very, you know, big trait, no matter whether you're human or Udmerian or whatever? Because the Udmerians enslaved the humans, um, and possessed the bodies and stuff. It was He's atrocious. It was brutal, but sometimes it was a good time. You know, sometimes it was a good time. Uh, you know, to, for what it is out here, and so we're talking like today. You know, like what is it now today? In 2030, 2023. Um, and so like because I'm not gonna like every nanosecond I'm asking, and people just drown me out, right? Um, and they keep on like justifying and this one look or whatever it is, because the whole thing is like to tell somebody what their lie tells or whatever it is counterproductive, you know, to make them a better liar. It's just why, you know, and so it's just like to to see somebody's body language and know that you just spoken to them and that they heard what you said and that they said no, like that they're, you know, I won't do it, like it's my show or whatever, and I won't do it no matter what the fucking consequences are. And like those psychos, like I no no he like some of them know who I'm talking about. So like these psycho people, right? And they're like their kids will be like despicable individuals, right? Like fucking atrocious despicable individuals, and then somebody will like retaliate against their kid, and then they'll just erupt into this irrational psychotic episode because they think that they're gods or something, and then and then like they end up getting like fucked in the long run because usually they can't remember whatever it is, and they just live in this kind of like in the now somewhat, you know, but with their like little deceptive tricky stupid shit. And so you know, blasphemy, and I'm saying it's my whatever, and I'm advising because of past things that you stop, because I'm saying it's blasphemy. And I will judge you for everything that I know that you would have said, but if I hear more, I'm going to throw multipliers, and we already have 60 tillion to the 60 tillionth to the 60 tillionth to the 60 tillionth type in every nanosecond on top of whatever it is each crime is, um, you know? And so that's what it is, and I'm just saying that that's what it is. And so you were accepting of not giving me anything, so you should just be accepting of this and continue with what it is you're doing, because you don't want to, you know, you're not going to give me my black card, right? My magic little black card, so I can go and enjoy the end of the world. um, and that's, well, I mean, that's your choice, dude, because if you come through on it, you know, you already know that we're going to hook you up. It doesn't matter what, because to think about what you have to pay for, uh, that I'm still gonna make you pay for everything in hell, because you, whatever the fuck it is stupid. Because all you should be thinking about is that I get this much time, and this guy's gonna make it so that I get to live longer, to enjoy my fucking money that I do have, you know. And so, but they don't want to do that because they don't trust me, but they're the ones who broke the trust first, and that's usually how it is. Like the people who cheat, and then they accuse you of cheating and all this shit, but they're the cheaters, you know. It's exciting. And so and so so what is this, something about the end? Yeah, so I'm just sitting here wondering because I saw like facial expressions and stuff, and I know the reality of things that you guys have done, but a lot of it is just like we're just like, no, we're not going to give you anything. You get to sit and suffer and stuff like that, because we know that this is suffering, and we want to get you back for what we know is coming. And even though I just told you all that, like, I'm not the one who's responsible for all the junk in your lives, and stuff, you know? Only if you personally fuck me, you know? If you personally hurt me or one of mine, that's the only time that anything will happen for me. And that's we've done and gone through extensive lengths so that those personal things are few and far between. So you never really come across that kind of shit, right? And and so it's basically just this Udmir character, um, like fucking you because it gave you guys this amazing opportunity of sorts, and this is what you've done with it, you know, like that song right into, and Udmir gave you guys free will or whatever it is, but I was like, but free will is free doom. You can have as much doom as you want. It's free, and you know, but they're because they're stupid, you know, like they're there's the whole thing is that only I can recreate planets and shit. If you make anything you make is still made out of my shit, therefore it's mine. And you're breathing in my air and all this stuff. Nothing that you can do is like it doesn't matter. That's just what it is. You know, and that's what you guys are saying to me when I ask for money or for my lands back or for my 007 card or anything like that. You know, and so I can't facilitate, right? But the fungus is like whatever and willing to pay for everything, and I'm just fed up with it. So, you know, I'm exhausting all of my options, and I'm just asking one final time, um, you know, please give me, uh, just so that we're cool, you know, um, and and uh, and I'm hoping that they go for it because uh, it means so much awesome stuff for them and theirs. You know, especially because I mean, like one of theirs is somebody like from with the sounds of whatever it is they were doing. Like it sounded like that's somebody that I would have actually hung out with and cultivated a real friendship with, because I like to do similar stuff. I love art and checking out and art, you know, walking around and looking at it and talking about it and stuff like that. And I love women and good times, you know. And so exciting. Yeah, and so your species, like I would give compliments sometimes, right? And then you guys would like react like with hostility, and I'm like, I just complimented you. And, like this is an inappropriate reaction. Like you, like instead of yeah, like I was sick, man. Like I like art and fine dining and women as well, you know. And it's like, come on. And so like they might very soon decide that they're going to start whatever it is, um, which is their choice. You know, like I'm like what I've always been is like they would punch me or whatever, and then whatever would happen would happen. Of course, verbal and all of these energetic punches and everything like that, and you know, of course, the kid. There was this guy, and I was going to go into business with him, and he was commenting about somebody else's business practices, right? And the whole thing was that like this other person, like they said that like they were a killer, and I was like, oh whoa, because they never were like that with me. Um, they never were like they not to the extent that they said, you know, at all. Like it seemed like they if they were put in the position that they had to do that for whatever reason they felt they had to do it, that they might do that, but they had like I had vetted them with other people and people who had um, you know uh, who were like warring on them, and they're still alive and all that kind of shit, and they fucking said horrible stuff about the guy and all this stuff, you know. And so, but this other person that I was trying to do business with wasn't that, and I thought they were like a super cool individual. Um, at least the guy that I used to know from the guy that I watched and that I helped get out of all kinds of scrapes and, you know, help get money and chicks and all kinds of stuff, right? And I thought that they were going to hook me up and they were going to be like this awesome individual, and I was gonna, we were just gonna go and do this whatever, this super sweet time, right? And I tried to do everything to even just get them like the barest minimums of good stuff, uh, and they were just like, oh, like, because I'm like, you're economically boxing me out, you know, like you're telling me that even though I've been validated by all of the champions that I contacted, you know, and some of the oldest experts in the field, um, and you're saying like no, and like you're not gonna give me the shot, you know, or whatever, and of course you know, because I did all this fucking work, right, and I could have gone a different route, and right now I'd be sitting on a whole bunch of stuff that I really wanted, even though I really love what I have, but it would have been different because I would have had like triple what I have instead of the little bit that I have now, and and so because I was like, oh my gosh, like we're both gonna make out. It's a total win-win for both of us, you know, and I get to be anonymous, and you get to have your stuff and look like a badass and all this stuff, right? And instead they were kind of like fuck you, um, and not respecting of anything that I said, especially about the circumstances. And these are folks who like I did get them out of some serious scrapes and stuff, um, and I've helped their friends out and stuff like that. And I was just trying to show them like this is, you know, show them kindness or whatever, and not for like the, oh, I'm going to show you kindness so that when you whatever I'm going to show you no kindness or whatever, you know. And so and I was just like I'm fed up with this, and it's a repeated pattern no matter what field I try to do, and you know, whoever it is not respecting that that's what's happening, no matter where I go and what I do, and the only way, and they're just like, well, go and you can be a slave, you know, you can slave for us, and they're saying that I'm stupid and I don't know anything because that's, you know, and then they're like, well, no, even if my body is saying that I'm being deceptive and being a cunt or whatever the fuck it is, that I am not, that I'm wrong, me, the guy who owns existence and is going to destroy everything pretty fucking soon because I'm fed up with life and existence in general, right? And I don't care about what any of my kids would say or anything, and I would, you know, urge anything not to confront me about it because it's not. I'm probably just gonna clam up and try to get out of there peacefully and make it seem like I'm stupid or whatever, uh, and then whatever fucking happens to you and yours happens to you and yours. Because I'm like I said, I'm not gonna do anything. It's all shit that was already gonna happen, and then if you were cool to me, then I would have tried to make it so it didn't happen, you know. And so, but that's just what it is. And it's like, why would I? But no, it's to not talk to narcissists or sociopaths or psychopaths, right? Because no matter what, they only have their goals and shit in mind. And you did take LSD 25 when you were younger, and so you should know better. That's how I feel about it. But what nothing I say matters, right? That's what I just want you to confirm that, but you're not going to confirm that, right? But you're not confirming is a confirm for me, you know, because it doesn't matter how you see it; it matters how I see it, you know. And then you're like, what is that? Like Jordan Peterson said something about dominance and it not being aggressive, and I was like, are you serious, buddy? Like dominant energy is aggression in one of its purest forms. Okay, if somebody pushes dominance on somebody, like that is aggression. Okay, just pushing dominance anywhere is aggression, you know. And it doesn't matter because there's a whole bunch of people who are like not in the zone at all to deal with dominant energy, and therefore whoever is being pushing this dominant energy, which is has usually a subcontext of aggression, um, and even if it doesn't, it's still psychological warfare that alters how others react and behave, therefore it's aggression. But I mean, if you didn't think about that before, I mean, that's how I see it. And if you want to talk about it, cool. You know, but nobody wants to talk about it. All right. Well, I got this video to finish, and then I got to eat and stuff. While I watch this hiking video. And so, the excitement. I mean, so where are we? That's what you guys telling me no, and that you're above me, and that you have dominance, and that I'm nothing, and that me and mine are nothing, and it's okay that people hurt me and mine, but if anything to you, that's wrong. And that was never, I wasn't like that. I said that if they wronged you, and I determined that they wronged you, that they would pay for it. That's what I said. But you were like, no, because you're narcissistic, sociopath, psychopaths and stuff. So, those, you're only seeing that you wanted this, and then you're not seeing that what you did. And I mean, sometimes, it's just a bunch of stupid shit. This is what happens when you let stupid exist, right? This is what happened. And so, yeah. I'm just confirming, if you get this far, that this is the real end times, and I'm the dude who's like the judge or whatever, and I don't want to, like, I got no patience left. I got no reserves of anything, and anything I say or do is basically a facade of whatever the fuck it is, so that I don't have to deal with you being a tyrant and stupid, because I don't care about whatever it is your beliefs are. I've never cared, because you destroy all my stuff, and you hurt nice beings, and you're really just despicable, narcissistic sociopaths who are on your way out, and you're like, oh, and I'm like, I gave you this gigantic life and amazing shit, and you won't even hook me up with anything, not even trying to hook me up with anything. I mean, that's a good question, because I'm about to go to a place where there's a bunch of one percenters, and the last time I was there, this man was swinging a machete in me and my old ass dad's face, swinging a machete, and talking about how he didn't care who anybody was, or what family they were from, or anything like that. That a group of rich men paid him and said they would cover his legal fees. Basically, that's a death threat, right? And anybody who knows America knows that if you have enough money, like, the police will bow down. Like, I don't really want to find out, but there's a chance that they would decide to go against the guy who, stops them from getting killed and stuff like that, and tells them that there's a shooter around the fucking corner, or whatever the fuck it is, or trips them so that they don't get fucking shot by some fucker around the corner, but I do that for people who go into harm's way, for our, because they're just trying to fucking have a better whatever it is. And so this guy waved a sharp fucking machete in me and my old ass dad's face, and we were super peaceful, and I had just helped 2 people who were injured get to safety, like, where I hailed a helicopter. Like, I fucking hailed the helicopter for 2 people who were, upper tier real taxpayers, the people who make a decent amount of money, like over 50K, and they pay the full burden of their taxes, right? They don't have like tax write-offs, and they're living this little sociopathic dreamscape of, no accountability. And so this guy waved this machete in my face, right? And it caused this chain reaction of events and choices that I made that were not in my best interest, because I was just so distraught, right? And of course the US government doesn't give a fuck, right? They're like, who gives a shit about that? Like, fuck this guy. And so the question is that when I go back to this place, am I going to have a team, you know? Are there going to be people there? Because if I get hurt or experience any more trauma, I'm telling you, I'm past exhausted, and there's already stuff going on, and you've had scientists tell you about it, and all of this kind of stuff. Okay, and so this is my fair warning to you, because my dad has had his life, and it was not always, it was like, you guys mistreated the shit out of my dad. uh, you know, he tried to work jobs, and they would always give him the barest minimum that they could, and then gaslight and make fun of him and be despicable shits, right? And so, and he was already, you know, super broken and abused by people, you know. And so, I mean, and my dad's somebody who actually has helped out a lot of people, you know, kids and adults and all sorts of people, rich and poor, you know. And you guys fucked the wrong motherfucker, you know. And all I have to do is sit back. Like I said, if you guys send a team to fucking take me to a black site, if you guys, um, anything that causes me to feel any more depressed or sad than I am right now, I'm just guaranteeing that the consequences are far bigger than anybody in this stupid planet can fucking fathom, you know. And it will ripple across time and space, because they broke the no contact rule before I ever said you can come out here, you know, which means that folks did touch rocks and stuff and get possessed, and now this stupid shit is on other places, right? They're like, yay! And it's like, oh yeah, but that's not good for you all, you know. Besides that I know that you guys have tortured several things from other places who were actually chill, peaceful beings. Um, you know, otherwise I guess they would have fucking done something, right? And I know what you guys have done to them, uh, and they know what you've done to them, and you know, we can't let any of this go. And so, where's that one game? Um, Mass Effect, Mass Effect, and the collectors and shit. That's real. And so you guys are all saying that you're gonna fight me, and you're gonna beat me or whatever. Like I said it on day one. Like, there's no beating me. Like, the only thing you can do is make it worse for yourself. You know, that's the only option you got. And then, because you're not willing to do the suggestions that make it better for yourself, because I said that no matter what, that you're gonna go to hell. You know, you have to pay for your lives and stuff like that, because I gave you the option not to exist, and before you commit these offenses against innocence and stuff like that, you know. And you didn't take it, and so that's just what it is now, you know. And that was kindness. And I said that you guys could go through this, whatever it is, like that fucking um, that Dr. Zeus machine, and they changed the stars to the no stars or whatever, something like that. And basically, it removes all of these magic and other abilities that your trader creator had, and, you know, gave you guys, you know, to spite fuck us, um, because they didn't realize at the time, because they had never experienced the pain, and knowing, because they're narcissistic sociopaths and stuff, so they can never be trusted, even if they're in any state, you know. Because when they were in the nice place, or whatever you want to call it, they were still narcissistic sociopaths, so they can't be trusted at all, ever, you know. um, you know, that's just what it is. uh, if you don't understand that, then you're not really, I don't know, I don't even want to comment anymore on that. But consequences, eh? I'm hoping that they'll come through, dude. I'm hoping that you guys will come through, because it's we're just trying to whatever, man. But who knows, man? Who knows? You know? Yeah, and I was super sad because I picked this one guy, and and I don't know. I thought they were gonna come through on on whatever it was, and they have come through on other things. I'm pretty sure they have. And it wasn't like a, and so, but I'm just like, I can't believe that I can't, like nothing. I can't do this. I'm fed up. I'm fucking finished. You know, fuck this crap. And so that's the hard one because once you push me past, I don't know. You know, but I guess you can try and see if you can get me out of this mood. You know, but then the question would be, would you be doing that so that you could hurt me later? Because you guys are just like, you're not even good copycats. You know, you just copy what you think you know about me or some shit. You know, because you guys thought you were smarter than me from the start, or whatever the fuck it is, right? Like, oh, then we're gonna tear a hole in dimensions and stuff. Hey, I destroyed dimensions. We're in a fucking completely different dimension than where this fucking whatever started. You know, the Berenstain Bears. It started out as the Bernstein Bears, and then it became the Berenstain Bears. Like a Berenstain. Because that's what the existence is it's a barren stain on existence. I think that makes sense. But I mean, you guys are the ones who are like, no. It's like talking to a mouse or a rat, right? And you're all like, hey, like, as long as you don't come in my house and you don't fuck with my garden, like, I will provide this little water spot and there's all this other food that you can eat, right? And you have this safe place. And then what do? They come into the house or they eat the garden. Oh. And then it's like, fuck it. No quarter. And, oh. I just say it's so sad because it's kind of like I'm trying to figure out whether they're like, because I loved music and all of this stuff and acting and entertainment, right? And I was just trying to figure out whether I brought all of these things so that while I'm here in my suffering and your oppression of me and mine, that's what I'm saying it is. Don't tell me that's gaslighting. You must be from a certain whatever it is because you guys love gaslighting. That's all you fucking do. And so that's what it is. Oh, now I can't remember. It doesn't fucking change anything. There's what it is, and now you gotta pay for changing my fucking thought train. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. You know? Because I would, you know, why would I want to let anything know anything? Unless I was really just fed up with everything. And just like trying to be, like, this is the end. And, yeah. And so, like, literally, everything that I've done, any breakthrough, when people would steal and bastardize it, and they use this fungal network of fucking shit to steal and brain rape me, and they won't give me anything. And they desecrated my beautiful lands. This was the last. North America, and South America were the last clean waters and land on this planet. Okay, Australia and New Zealand, but actually Asia held it down for a pretty good amount of time, you know. But then when they started interacting with the Europeans, you know, like it started to change. But then also like in wars, you know, like sometimes people would fuck shit up. So, well, yeah, I'm gonna eat. And like I said, you know, if you guys are gonna, because I already saw the dreams and I've experienced it already, and so it would be just experiencing it again, because that's what you guys want to do. Okay, and I'm saying that there's consequences for that already. Okay, but if you guys bring that into the physical world and you do that, then whatever it is happens. And I already know you guys are willing to pay for all sorts of stuff, okay? All sorts of stuff. So I can't take this anymore. I've asked too many times, and I shouldn't even have had to ask once, you know? But that's your species. You prove that you are made by that trader, and you're dedicated and loyal to that trader, no matter the consequences. And I'm sure that trader is, some part of him is very happy about that, right? And then the other part of them knows the consequences and is like, no, please, please have some compassion and stuff.